Alright guys, so today we are going to discuss one of the most prominent thinker of the history, Karl Marx. Karl Marx is considering one of the most influential thinker, and he was actually the epitome of the 19th century. He has inclined so many thinkers towards him and has produced some ideologies such as communism and capitalism. In this video, we will discuss few terms such as surplus value, class struggle, alienation, and how capitalism will replace communism. How capitalism will replace communism. These are our targets, but before discussing these terms, first we are going to discuss the political philosophy of Karl Marx. Political philosophy of Karl Marx. So according to Marx, humans have some basic needs. Humans have some basic needs. So Marx says, like basic needs such as food, clothes, and shelter. These are the three basic needs of human, and human can survive without these three basic needs. So Marx says that these three basic needs are basically material in nature. Material, yes, we can perceive it, we can touch it. These are material in nature. So Marx says these basic needs are very important for humans. Now, how we can achieve these basic needs, how we can fulfill these basic needs. So according to Karl Marx, he says these basic needs can be produced by material production. Now, how will we produce these material production? How will we produce this material production? So Marx has given his concept. Marx says that actually we have animals and we have humans. Marx says that animals are directly dependent on nature. They are directly dependent on nature. Okay? So humans are not directly dependent on nature. Not dependent. Okay? Humans are not dependent directly on nature. For nature, we will collect raw materials. Marx says that animals are directly dependent. They can get from the nature everything directly, but humans cannot get, and humans will actually utilize those raw material. They will process the raw material and they will get those productions. So for this production, human needs some raw material to process raw material. So Karl Marx says animals are directly dependent on nature while humans are not directly dependent on nature. Okay, humans will collect raw materials and then they will process these raw material. And they will get products. Such as raw material, like we have wood. So we process this wood and we get chairs and tables and so on. This is what Karl Marx says, that humans can process these raw materials and they can get products. Now Karl Marx says that the ability, this is Karl Marx's concept, that the ability to produce is unique among humans. Marx says that human can produce and their quality of production is unique. They have the quality and the capability to produce new things and they can process these raw materials while animal can't do like this. So Marx says we need means of production. Like we need means of production, raw materials. So after raw material, we will process these raw material and we will get product. So Marx says we need material production. We need raw materials. Okay. So Marx says there's, for example, we have earth. We have earth. So earth is a means of production, and we can grow food, and we can get foods and fruits and vegetable and so many other things from this single material production. Okay. So Karl Marx says that who control these means of production, in whose control these means of production, like these raw materials are in control of someone, but in whose control these raw materials are. So Karl Marx said we have two classes in society. We have two classes. Okay. In society we have two classes. Okay. Karl Marx says one is a dominant class. While the other is dominated class. Now Karl Marx says these dominant class are actually capitalist. They are capitalists, and capitalists also known as rich people. They are lords. They are lords. They are actually the masters, and they are the rich people. They are actually the have class. Okay. So Karl Marx says this capitalist class, this bourgeois class, the rich class, and the dominant class owns everything. They owns these material production, these raw materials. These raw materials are in the grip of these people. So they own these raw material. While this dominated class are the poor class. The poor class are, you can say, the worker class, or the slave class, or the serf class, or the have-not class. So this have-not class don't own these raw material. These raw materials are actually in the hands of dominant class, not in the hands of dominated class. Okay. Now Karl Marx says these two classes, the poor class and the rich class, okay, they are in conflict with one another. They are in conflict with one another. So there is a conflict between the two classes, and from here we get class struggle. This is a class struggle. What is a class struggle? Class struggle is actually a struggle among the two classes, the upper class and the lower class, the capitalist and the worker, the bourgeois class and the proletariat class, the rich class and the poor class. So the lords and serf. So Karl Marx says there is a conflict among these two classes, and this conflict is actually a class struggle. And Karl Marx said history is actually about the class struggle.